And Jesus said, Ye shall receive power. After that the Holy Ghost is come upon you. And ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem, and in all Judea, and in Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth. Welcome to today's program. It's really supernatural. Acts of the Holy Spirit. I'm your host, Henry Schaefer. I believe in the supernatural, and God is on the move in these last days. Let's move into the program and see another chapter that could be written in the book of Acts. Well, hello and welcome, CSRE. I'm your host, Henry Schaefer. Welcome to another episode of It's Really Supernatural. It is Friday, May 27th. It's 7 o'clock, right at the top of the hour, and I'm your host here, and I'm excited about what God is doing here in the CSRE. I got a great big lineup here for you tonight. Got two normal people who are here in the studio with me. I said normal. After you know what I've been talking about and been thinking about, I say they are normal.
That's right.
Amen.
I got JFK here with me, and I have Dana Turner. It's good to have y'all.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
About as normal as we can be.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Man, this is wild, running around trying to get all this taken care of. Tell them about, we're on Facebook.
Well, we're on Facebook Live, so we're hoping those I can see from this far. We've got a few people that have joined us, but I can't read it from this far. So those of you on Facebook Live, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. We've got a really good kind of way out there supernatural program for y'all tonight.
It's really supernatural.
It's really supernatural, right?
And Pastor, I tell you what, you're a genius, man. Get all this stuff going. I was just thinking, I just came here and showed up, and you running around fixing stuff and getting everything lined out. I am so happy that you know what you're doing, man.
Well, we've got some things we're setting up. We're trying. If you go to Ustream, you can still check us out like you always have.
Right.
Go to Ustream, WUCC, type that in. You can look right on into the studios. Mm-hmm. Y'all know which camera to look into now.
I don't know.
Got so many
trying
cameras.
to look at
That's the one you're going to look at, Ustream right there.
Right over there on Ustream.
Yeah, so you wave, and then if you're going to do Facebook, you're looking at it right there. Did you told everybody about Facebook, right?
I told everybody about Facebook,
okay.
Yes.
So that's going to be great. And then, we're doing something else on YouTube now. So I am streaming to YouTube Live right now, Henry Schaefer live stream or something like that. You can hunt me up there. What I'm doing is I am doing actually dual cameras, all kind of things happening there.
Right.
The audio won't be just right, but it'll be like picking up the room audio until I get that video right. And then we're going to be actually maybe swapping over to that full time.
Oh, okay.
Until we get it all done. So, we got different cameras we're looking at in here now. So you get a different view of the room and all that we have here. But we're going to be talking about some interesting things here tonight.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and tell everybody about quarter after the hour. We're going to be taking a break. We have to take a commercial break because we got somebody who is sponsoring the program. So we're excited about that. And that is Dr.
Sheila Milo.
Yeah, and she's sponsoring our program tonight. So you're going to have to wait about 15 minutes, and you're going to hear her commercial here. But we really appreciate her supporting It's Really Supernatural as well. So we're going to be talking about 3 F's tonight. This is how you're going to remember it.
3 F's.
We're going to be talking about the Flakka drug. We're going to be talking about furries. We're talking about furries.
Yeah, furries.
And then we're going to be talking about feast days as well. So we got like 3 segments we're going to do here, and all in between we're going to try to figure out what's going on here. So let's go ahead. You got some stuff here about Flakka.
I do.
Go ahead and find out what we were talking about here on Flakka.
All right. Well, our first story here tonight is a drug, a new drug. Well, actually, it's been out for a little while, and then it went away for a while. It says in the article that this is a drug that's very high risk of overdose, and it leads to very violent behavior, hypothermia, and superhuman strength. And they're dubbing it, if I can find it here, did it say the devil's? What did it say? Gerald, do you remember reading that? The devil's drug?
Well, we'll call it that anyway.
Yeah, and they're saying that it's a really bad drug.
Yeah, and the reason why I wanted to pick this up is I think what God is really trying to prepare the church for is as the devil is enhancing and is picking up his demonic strongholds that are on people's life.
Right.
With this type of drug and what it's doing and how it's just very, very destructive in people's life. And I mean, even the police are calling it demonic possession.
Yes, they are.
That's what they're saying. This is demonic possession. When you get the the professional people saying there's something different about this drug, and so it makes them like superhumans. And they just go crazy. I mean, they run their heads through windows and cars.
He said it takes six policemen just to hold one guy down.
Wow. 6
grown men.
I've got about a 3 or 4 minute video here. Now, what I'm gonna do is that when we get through with this, I will put the links in the description. When you go to It's Really Supernatural, and you go to that page there, and you look, you're going to find out on the Facebook, you're going to see all this. But I have the links in there so you can watch these videos yourself.
Right.
There's a couple of these videos you don't want to watch because, well, you don't want to listen to it. It's got a bad word or so that's in it. But I think this one here is the good one. I listened to it all the way through.
Right.
Hope I got the right one.
Hope you got the right one.
Hope I got the right one. Somebody
That's
shout
right.
amen.
That's right.
So we're going to run this one here. It's warning, extremely disturbing. Flakka, terrifying demon zombie drug is sweeping the nation. Let's see if I can get this thing here playing. Run to your YouTube or run to your WCC on Ustream.tv. You can watch this right now. Go ahead into our studio. You can go to cwchrist.com. Go right there to right on the main page. You can look right on the studios, and we have this up on the screen here,
right,
and you
so
will
they
be
can
able
see
to.
it.
You can
Yes.
see what we're seeing as well here. So let me see if I can get this thing here going here. Are y'all ready? Here we
We're
go.
ready.
A new synthetic killer drug known as Flakka is spreading rapidly across the United States and already causing an epidemic of overdose fatalities and acts of violence.
We're talking about Flakka.
Flakka.
The drug is called Flakka. Some have dubbed it the insanity drug.
And it's everywhere.
It's been described as the scariest drug in the world. More powerful than heroin or cocaine.
This is a
Listen to
synthetic
them.
drug that can alter your state
Look
of
how
mind,
their face
raising
looks.
excited delirium, body temperature, and literally losing their mind.
They're all experiencing like superhuman kind of strength.
Look at
It
this
takes
guy.
6 policemen to hold him down.
He run
That's a
his
problem.
head into the
Psychotic
back.
breakdowns,
policemen.
hallucinations,
aggressive, violent behavior.
Cannibalism and self-mutilation.
Cannibalism.
indiscriminate
I'm
violence.
going to pause it right there. Well, they're talking about cannibalism.
Cannibalism and self-mutilization.
So cutting themselves,
Yes.
cutting all their body. You know, we deal with people in deliverance, who cut themselves.
Right.
And for, and I stand there in church and I tell people, I have, just say we have 170, 180 people there because it was at that time. And I'm telling them they're in church and I give an altar call. And I say, if you're here and you're tormented and you are cutting yourself, and you need help, we're here at the church, we're here to help you.
Right.
Well, then I have 30 or 40 people roll their eyes, and say, this is nuts. But that family sitting there whose daughter is pulling a knife out, cutting their hips, cutting their sides, above
Right.
their belt.
Right. So it's hidden.
So it's hidden. And cutting that and cutting the back of their legs or cutting what have you, so that they are dealing with the pain that way. Because it's easier to deal with the pain and knowing that it's the spirit doing it, and people getting up saying, "Well, this church here's done flipped out." Right. No, here's the thing: is that the church world has lost connection
To the spirit.
to the spiritual
world.
realm, and with the people that are in congregations with them, they're just thinking, "Well, it's just a mental thing. It's just a thing that they just need to go out and just." Work with through some psychology. I don't
Right.
see that I don't see psychologists, psychiatrists. I don't see that in the Bible.
Right.
They didn't have that. Please understand that, y'all. They didn't have that. So there were things that they did there to help set people free. Do I believe that there is a place for that? I do.
Absolutely.
I honestly do, because we have learned so much more in mental health that we need to have. But in this drug here, we're talking about the Flakka drug being a synthetic drug. It's made. They take this drug and they put it, with bath salts and things like that that's in it. They put it in the e-cigarettes.
Yeah, they say it can be smoked, just chewed. They call it, another name for it is gravel.
Gravel, okay.
Because it looks like the gravel in the bottom of a fish tank, they said.
Okay, got it.
So, there's candy that looks like that. They put it inside a gummy candy.
Wow.
There's all kind of things that they're putting it in.
So just in this video here, they're talking about a cannibalism and talking about self-mutilization. So I'm going, yep, I'm already seeing that in just the normal things in people's life. When I say normal, people coming for help for deliverance
Right.
are coming because they're having issues like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, Pastor, you look at the top. It says, warning, extremely disturbing, Flakka, terrifying demon zombie drug sweeping, and I'm thinking this isn't a church saying this. Oh,
That's right. That's right.
This
there
is,
you go.
I mean, this is just, I'm like, wow.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to pick this one up. We're going to go with it because I've really got to get a commercial here in just a few moments. Here we go. You ready?
When Flakka takes over,
We are living in the context of the end of the age. We are a nation under judgment. But you think it's bad, wait until you see what really bad is.
We are here driving, and there's a guy that jumped on our hood of our car.
He jumped on the car.
It's insane.
They're going to show one in a minute. Look at how deformed, how it's crawling.
Wow,
Did you
twisted.
see that? Yeah, twisted.
Hit Illinois, Ohio, Texas, Kentucky, California, and Florida.
The gateway to demonic
is now
possession.
the epicenter of the outbreak.
There's been many crazy stories of people having unbelievable strength.
Some people would have like superhuman strength. People have taken Flakka, and it's taken 6 police officers to hold them down.
People carrying off their clothes, running around the streets naked.
In Revelation 18, there's a very, very important passage. In that passage, if you read it, you will find very clearly that the kings of the earth and the great merchants of the earth conspire together, and it says they do sorcery, and the word used there is pharmakia, which is the use of drugs to control the activities of the world, and it says through this they deceive the nations of the earth. So in conclusion to this mass invocation of demonic spirits in people, drugs play a key role
This
in
guy here's
opening
naked
portals
here,
and
or
contacting
you
the
can't
spirit
see it,
world.
but
Right.
What was going
when you watch it,
on
you
in
can
your
tell.
body, in your mind? What was happening to you?
I never experienced anything like that before. I felt that I was possessed, and I kept trying to stop whatever was in me.
You described this as, you said, was it like hell on the inside or the devil? How did you describe it?
It felt so evil. It felt like the most darkest, evilest thing that is imaginable.
Many of them will see dead bodies that aren't dead, whether it be animals or humans. They can actually feel the body, they could see the body. Others are seeing people following them.
There were visuals that we get that were so grotesque. They're like nothing I couldn't
Watch this girl.
Watch this
her.
girl, yeah.
Watch what she does.
She reaches
It
over
felt very demonic.
on the subway.
Look at her
reaches
face.
over.
The consumption of substances
I've seen that on
and
Sunday
psychotropic
mornings.
properties are becoming increasingly significant.
We've seen people do
The
that in
impact
Right,
it's
we
having in
have,
society,
yes.
with the number of people who are succumbing to
Boy, he don't
the
even know what's
spiritual
going on.
impacts
He
of drug consumption
got punched.
and other kind of
That one there's pulling
occult
his
activity,
eyes.
and as well as the increase in psychotic violence that's occurring.
I think that we're going
Sounds
to
like
see
it's
waves
supernatural
of
to
this
me.
that are going to
Absolutely.
be very, very devastating.
Wow.
But understand this, in the last days, terrible times will come. Timothy 4 verse 1. Some will abandon faith. They will follow deceitful spirits, teachings of demons.
Teachings of demons. Wow.
This is Rip.
Wow. So anyway, I got something here, Flakka, which gets its name from the Spanish slang for a beautiful woman. La Flakka contains a chemical that is close cousin to MDVP, a key ingredient in bath salts. Get on downtown.
Right.
These chemicals bind and thwart molecules on the surface of neurons that normally keep the levels of mood-regulating neurotransmitters, dopamine and serotonin, in check. The result is to flood the brain with these chemicals. And just like cocaine, methamphetamines have similar modes of action in the brain, the chemicals here are very, very long-lasting. Wow.
But you read this, it says that the neurological effects can be permanent once you take this Flakka.
Yeah, and the thing is that when they're talking about
it destroys the neurons,
moving into a spiritual realm that
Right.
opens up the door to
Right.
demonic activity.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, it's here. So let's just do this here a moment. When I say a Christian, what about this here? If a Christian takes this drug and it opens up the door to this demonic stuff, is that pastors, would that still be able to satisfy a Christian can be messed up with a demon?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is to me.
I mean, if they messed up and get some of this stuff and they go into this demonic realm opening up, well, they would say what? It couldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
We
Right.
would say, we've already seen this.
Exactly.
We've seen this on a smaller scale with people going through deliverance from other things, cutting themselves or being involved in things like that. But we've seen this here. Wow, this is amazing.
Well, you know, the thing about this I read, and it's on my phone, so I don't have it in front of me. I hope I can remember it. But they say that this drug mainly comes from like China and India, and that you can buy $2,000 worth, but on the market, that $2,000 is worth $50,000 when you break it down and sell it, and it's like $3 to $5 a dose.
Right. I was just
it's very cheap.
And I was just reading that CNN. You know, we got that article from CNN right there, and it's talking about how in Florida, Broward County, been really hit really hard, overdoses, all this stuff coming in.
Right.
But here's the thing: churches, pastors, you need to get ready.
Yes.
Your people.
This kind of stuff's coming.
This stuff's coming, and if the church isn't ready to know how to set God's people free, then what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
And
how are we going to handle that?
And you know, Pastor,
what we do with zombies in the movies.
See, that's what they're calling this, like zombification, total zombification. Like they just go crazy, running into cars and different things.
Wow,
it's amazing.
You can tell we've been so desensitized.
Let's go ahead right here and see if we can't take a commercial.
Take a commercial break.
Commercial break for our sponsor here. We'll be right back in just a moment. Here we go.
Do you have pre-diabetes, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, or are you overweight? If so, please contact me, Dr. Milo, at Premier Medical and Metastatic Center, so I can help you manage your medical problems. Call 803-617-7555. That's 803-617-7555. I'm committed to your total health and wellness.
Wow. And listen, isn't that great? It's great having Dr. Milo with us on the program, supporting us. We're going to get her in to do a program as well. But we had time this week to spend some time with her, starting her own business here in the Aiken area. Came here, we're blasting the area.
Right.
So if you're out there, you're listening, hook up with her. I mean, I got to spend some time with her. Not only is she spiritually sound, I'm talking about spiritually sound, right, but it does internal medicine as well.
That's right. And, so if you need you a good doctor,
she was
go
just
see Dr.
a nice lady,
That's
wasn't
right.
she?
She was.
Okay, let's get on back here to our program here. We're talking about the Flakka drug. I just see what's taking place. A lot of people are going to get involved in this across the land. Pastors, people in their family, and they're not going to know how to deal with it. So I think what God wants to do in the last days with what he's trying to bring a deliverance type awareness. And I'm not saying every church needs to be a deliverance church.
Right,
I'm not saying that every Christian needs to be a deliverance minister. But I am trying to tell you this here is that you do have authority over demonic forces and demonic powers.
Absolutely.
And when you get ready to start to minister to someone who may even be under this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You do have spiritual authority in that, and you can help these people more than just, they need to be strapped down, they need to be this here, but on the spiritual side of it, people need to be speaking into the spiritual realm and taking control like they need to. But, of course, I know, on the other hand, some of you don't believe you can do that.
Right.
You don't, but we know you can.
We know you
can.
can. Absolutely.
Yeah,
well, Pastor, not only this part about being the spiritual side of it, but I think of this drug coming as something that when you hear about things coming in the last days, that is so terrible and so terrifying because it's damaging these people beyond. I mean, they're not ever normal again, and I think it's a drug straight from the pits of hell that have come up, and so not only are these people being demonized and cannibalism and self-mutilation, I mean, they're damaging their brain permanently. So without God's intervention, it seems hopeless.
That's right.
In times past, people will always try to, when they get into the recreational drugs, they say, well, why don't you try this here? And then, you can try this here. And they get used to trying different things. And,
right.
And this is not one of the things you want to try.
Absolutely. That's exactly
Here's what it says. It is unclear at this point whether Flakka is more dangerous than the bath salts that came before it. But it does have one advantage over its predecessor. It has not been banned yet. Isn't that amazing?
Right. That is amazing.
But anyway, it talks about it is put in bath salts. So the problem is that when one of these drugs is banned or illegal, the drug manufacturer just responds by just making a different derivative of it.
Yes.
Just make something just a little bit different, and it says then it can go on out there and start testing and all the stuff that's out there. So, I mean, superhuman, and being able to be demonically possessed in that opens the door up to demonic possession.
All you got to do is watch that video to see.
Yeah, it'll be in the link.
I mean, it is unbelievable.
So here's what we're doing in the last days. It's really supernatural. As the devil raised the standard up.
Yes.
I'm going to do this here. God is raising up deliverance churches.
Yes, he is.
Deliverance ministers saying, hey, listen, we can counter that through Jesus Christ, the blood, the power that he has. And they need medical help as well. They're going to need spiritual help.
Right. That's exactly
to
right.
get rid of what they picked up while they were there under that drug. Wow. Okay, you ready? So let's go ahead. We're going to talk about the next wave. Puppy play, ecosexuals, and polyamory.
Polyamory, I guess that's,
But it's this is out of Charisma magazine.
This is messed up, yes.
And this is, I had seen this. This is a subculture of people who, they called it. It's got a name called Furries, and people who were out there who may be. Some of you already may know when we talk about the word, drop that name, Furries. They go, oh yeah, I know what that is. I've seen some things on the television about it and what have you, but. Charisma magazine brought this up, and you sent me the link of that. I'm going, let's talk about the furries here tonight. And that's what we're going to talk about, is that there is a subculture that what they want to do is they take animals, suits.
Dress up like animals.
Dress up like animals. I'll put the link out there, but this one here is sitting here like, is that a dog, a fox sitting right there?
Sitting by his dog, trying to look like his dog. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going.
I think we should read this, Pastor. This paragraph here.
Go ahead and do it.
It says, let's talk about puppy play. There's a growing community of people in the Western world that are absolutely obsessed with dressing up like cats or dogs and behaving just like them. Now, that's what it says, YouTube in parentheses.
Yeah, and I'm going to find that on YouTube.
Okay.
So go right ahead.
It says, in an era when anything goes, some people are pushing the envelope to shocking new extremes. At one time, most of the debate was about one or two of the alternative lifestyles that are out there. But now there are a multitude of rapidly growing communities that are into things that would have been unheard of in previous generations. We have gotten to a point where a large portion of our young adults are completely rejecting traditional values regarding marriage and family. And it gives the link for it there. It says that why are Americans getting married at an average of 7 years later than they did the 1950s? And they are seeking out other paths that they hope will lead them to the fulfillment that they crave. Let's talk about puppy play first, because there's three of them here we want to talk about. There's a growing community in the Western world that are absolutely obsessed with dressing up like their cats and dogs. And
now let's stop right here. And they do this. They have conventions.
Yes, conventions.
They have meetings
Absolutely.
that they go to. And I think it was up in Pennsylvania. I think it was up that way, and it happens in June, July. They all know when to go. Yeah. They all load up. They all go, and they bring their suits and their dogs. I mean, whatever they dress up as, and they go.
And
that way.
some they just like to dress up. It says that some being furry, it's not about the sex, but to some it's both.
Yeah, and
so some do both.
Before we get into because that's what Charisma magazine was sharing.
Right.
Was that it's being perverted. It's taking the innocent play of dressing up, mock playing, as all these different, like birds and cats and dogs and all these kind of things, and getting together and feeling that it has been perverted.
Total perversion.
So because I see where you're getting ready to read this here at, let me play this video right here.
All right.
Like a 3-minute video, and we'll pick up where you're at.
All right.
On that. You ready? So everybody go to their YouTube. They can check this out. It's called Furries. This is National Geographic, so that's pretty reputable source, I would think.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying it's the best. I mean, the Bible's better than National Geographic's, but it's a pretty good reputable source to a lot. Is that all right? What's the matter?
I'm just laughing at you.
Here we go. So we're talking about furries. What are furries?
Dressing up as a blue cat on weekends.
A blue cat?
To be able to actually wear, from head to toe, look exactly like I do sort of in my head.
Courtney is a furry, one of a growing number of people who believe that they are part human, part animal. He feels the need to get in touch with his inner kitten, called Nuka.
His inner kitten.
Putting on the full fursuit for Nuka is it's unbelievable. When I'm Courtney, I'm shy, I'm nervous. I don't like having a lot of attention on me. Courtney's the stressed out grad student trying to work on a PhD.
Let me pause this a moment. I guess I have to pause this and interject my comments.
Right.
Pastor, can I say one thing?
Go right ahead.
Have
Pull
you
that
read-
mic up to your mouth.
I was going to ask,
had you worried about it?
Had you read that disclaimer tonight?
Oh, do you think we need to?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Can you tell it?
No, I don't want to tell. I'll let you tell it.
Go ahead and say it.
No.
The views and opinions?
The views and opinions of this radio station.
Of this program.
May or may not reflect the views.
May or may not reflect the views and opinions of
WUCC
and staff or owners.
WUCC 99.9 or its owners.
Or its owners. You look at this program as totally entertainment.
That's right.
It's just out there, total entertainment, or you can say, wow, our world is really
messed up. Our world is messed up.
And you can realize that, and then that's why I pause this right here, is that somewhere along the line, if you're not careful and start sharing this with people, that this is there and where it can take you at, your child, our child, people who are in our churches,
right,
are going to get pulled into this subculture that is, it's not Flakka,
right,
but it's furries.
It's furries.
And it's going to be pulled into a subculture that, it may wound up pretty bad for them mentally and physically and come out with all kind of stuff, because we're going to read the rest of that article there in a moment.
Right.
So this guy right here wants to get in contact with his inner kitten. On the inside,
kitten.
Feel like he's half human, half animal. What does that sound like to me? It sounds to me like a little demon.
Sounds like a demon to me.
All right, here we go.
Right.
Here we go.
Let's go right with it.
I prefer being Nuka. He's mischievous and playful and silly, and when I'm in my persona, I don't mind people looking at me. I'm okay with being the center of attention. I don't feel so embarrassed to have everyone's eyes on me. If I got a pair of ears and a tail on, or if I'm wearing my collar, or if I'm in the mindset of Nuka, I'll run out to a group of people and be really enthusiastic. I engage with people a lot more.
While Courtney feels comfortable in fur, most people would find this behavior bizarre.
Oh yeah, you got it going on, sister.
Furries can be considered greatly taboo because we look at people dressing up in furry costumes as being child's play, and it's something that should have been left in the past and not brought into adulthood.
It's considered strange for grown men and women to dress up as furry animals because most adults just can't relate to people who want to do that.
Strange as it may seem, Courtney feels more like himself when he's Nuka.
He's Nuka.
Yet he's far from alone.
Look at all
He's
them.
just one of up to a
Look at all
million
them
people
furries.
worldwide who belong to the furry fandom.
You think you're furry, you feel like you're furry, you're a furry. Like any other subculture, we come together because we have this common interest.
Eric belongs to Courtney's local fandom. His fursona is a hybrid fox, dragon, and plant called alkane.
I feel like a lot of social barriers that I don't like have been removed. So I get to have a lot more fun without people thinking I'm weird or strange, because I'm already weird and strange. I'm not in the closet, so to speak. I keep alkane in my closet, but that's about it.
Research suggests that up to 85% of furries believe they're not entirely human.
Now listen to that. Okay, we're going to stop it right there. Wow, that's amazing. Now, the reason why we wanted to show that part of the video of the National Geographic is because what I see out of there is people who feel like they're part animal, part human, and when they put the suit on, that they're able to, play out their fantasy roles and things like that. Now, I'm thinking about this here in the fact that if I was pastoring a church and somebody came in talking to me like this, I would be trying to figure out my own footing and how do I need to help them, or if they tried to tell me that, I feel like I am compelled to do this and I can't stop. Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds to me like that's the sound of some of the same things that I've heard before in things with people who are or being oppressed, possessed, or what have you. Now, let's just talk about Christians in this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And needing help. So we're talking about the mental aspect of it, which I do believe there's a mental aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And then there's the spiritual side of it. And that's why I think it's so good to have doctors. And it's good to have them there because I think that we do need them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
In the proper context, in the spiritual side of it, that it has to go hand in hand. So I'm not discounting that at it either. But don't just discount the spiritual side of it. Don't discount that and just say, well, with the right diagnosis and we're talking to you, we can straighten you. That's not going to work. Not if something spiritual's there and they need to be set free from.
Right.
That makes
right.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you know what I was thinking is that if they get this far along, at what point do they really realize or recognize the fact that they do need help? A lot of times we get entangled and then we don't recognize or realize that we need help until we get to where the enemy is taking us further than what we thought we were going to go. In other words, once they start doing things that they know, then they themselves know that they're crazy. Now they're just having fun and they feel like they're being liberated and they can break whatever rules they want to break. But now when we get to the point to where they have no control over or have little control over what their next action is and how far it goes, right, then they may recognize, okay, right, I think I'm going to need some help.
That's right.
Right.
Because I can't stop doing what I'm doing. We face that quite a bit.
Yes, we do. Well, I mean, there's nothing normal about this. I don't care any way you say it. There's nothing normal, and
it's not flying a kite, being a flight kind
right
group. We're going to go fly a kite
because it says they're people. Listen,
that ain't the same thing, y'all.
Right here it says furries are people that dress up in animal costumes, and here's the part, and take on the persona of that animal.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not just putting on a little costume like children run around playing. I mean, they're actually taking on the persona of the animal.
And if so, now let's go ahead because I can do a lot of commentary on this here and just let people know that the church is going to face this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if the churches hadn't already faced it, they don't know how to handle it, then that's why we're doing the program,
right,
is because you can help them. And you need to be looking out past. Someone says, well, Pastor, you believe everything's demonic? I'm going, well, yeah, most of it.
Yeah, but I was listening to what you were saying earlier about having a footing because you got people still dress up on Halloween and stuff.
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna go down that road
and then
yet.
they still do the costumes. I mean, people go to costume parties and stuff like that, and they enjoy doing that.
But that's not the same thing.
But here's the thing: it's just like the lady said in the video. As you get, a child, you get past a certain age, and you leave those childish things behind.
Right.
I mean, you don't have a. Here, earlier this month, 3,000 people attended the annual biggest little FurCon convention in Reno, Nevada.
Wow.
Including around 700 of those people dressed up in fursuits.
Fursuits.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there's just nothing normal about that.
That's right.
Well, the fursuits thing is probably not, I guess what I'm saying is that, this was kind of, maybe this is kind of like a warning or a something for us to really say, okay, what is really going on here? Especially when you bring the sex thing into it. But,
right.
When you
That's what we're getting ready to do.
Yeah, but when you look at people who are like, Star Wars characters, they dressing up. I mean, everything
right,
seems so innocent. But it's
right,
there's always the next step.
Well, we're talking about this, and the reason I sent these two links to the pastor, and I thought they'd make a good title for our, to do a program on, was because we're living in these days where things are so accepted as the norm.
Right.
I mean, we've gone from okay and saying, same-sex marriage.
Right.
Now to this transgender stuff that's being, shoved down our throats.
Exactly.
And then you're starting to see all these articles about adults dressing up like dogs and cats and acting like them and having sex with them and all this stuff. So it just goes to show you the decline in our society.
That's right.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring that to the attention. But while we're here for just a second, Bill Turner and Crew 3, Sister Fran Schaefer, Brian Finley, Susan,
everybody.
Christmas Hall, all those of y'all that are watching on Facebook.
They're doing Facebook with us.
They're doing Facebook Live with us. So thank y'all for listening and watching. And if I missed your names, I'm sorry I can't see that far away. But anyway, what we're going to next, Pastor?
Well, the part of it is the perversion of it.
Right.
Is that, okay, just say you say this, it's just play.
Right.
It's just like putting on, a costume and just playing with it and everything. But like you heard the psychiatrist say, that should have been left behind when you were a child. Okay,
Right.
now just say you were talking about costumes. We're not talking about having a party, dressing up. This is a lifestyle that they feel like something. I feel like I'm set free when I can act out my inner beings of an animal or whatever it is.
And give that animal a name.
So there, at the top of the program, where it talks about in Charisma Magazine, it's called ecosexuals. The next wave, puppy play, ecosexuals. And when you talk about that, that's a term that is defined as, when you look it up on define it here in Wikipedia, when you look at it, because it's a definition of where the ecosexuals, the earth is the lover. They are madly and passionately and fiercely in love and are grateful for the relationship with the earth every day. And in order to create a more mutual and sustainable relationship with the earth, they collaborate with it, with nature, and they treat the earth with kindness, respect, and affection. Not only that, they make love with the earth.
It says they engage in sex acts with things in nature.
Exactly.
According to the blog post from people on the website.
Exactly. And if you look at it here, when you look it up, the definition of it, that's exactly what it says. So it's like it pulls you in to pull you into this here, and all along is sexual perversion. Well, I won't go into it that far. How do you know?
How do you know you won't?
How do you know? And that's where it's, well, I'll take this bit of a drug, but I'll never get like that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Next thing you know, you're doing just like it. And we see you on running your head through the window.
Right.
I'm talking about with a Flakka drug. But here it is, the ecosexuals that they're talking about. Go ahead and I'll let you read the rest of it.
Well, it just says, I know this sounds very weird, but this is a real thing. In fact, there are people who actually engage in ecosexual performance art. It would be easy to make lots of jokes about this sort of thing, but that is not the intention of this article. And this is the part that got my attention. Rather, the goal is to get people to understand just how radically our culture is shifting. Huge segments of our society are completely discarding traditional notions of morality and are engaging in behaviors that our grandparents never would have even imagined.
Exactly. So let me read this other part of what it says here. It says, we make love. This is what they say in identifying themselves.
Okay.
We make love with the earth. We are aquaphiles, terraphiles, pyrophiles, and aeriophiles. We shamelessly hug trees, massage the earth with our feet, and talk erotically to plants. We are skinny dippers, sun worshipers. We are stargazers. We caress rocks, our pleasure by waterfalls, and admire the earth curves often. We make love with the earth through our senses. We celebrate our E-spots, and we are very dirty. Now, that's right off their website where it talks about.
Right.
So that is all from, is this amazing?
Yes, it is very, very
and so
bold.
what all I'm trying to do is open up the eyes to the people that this is something that's it's not natural.
Right.
And that's why I do the program called It's Supernatural, because we identify those type things that are happening out there in the world that the church is going to have to deal with.
That's right.
I mean, you're going to have to deal with people who are there. And the thing is that when they come in and they're dealing with their, say, I'm a furry, then as you're educated,
we're going to know
that there is a sexual tendency, whether they know it or not, but there's a spirit there that now, as we have taken people through deliverance and have seen those things, and I hate to talk about deliverance, y'all know that, but you have to realize that in the supernatural world of demonic activity, that's where people can be set free at. We have seen people who have been set free from bestiality.
Right.
Where they have sexual intercourse with animals.
Not that they're having it.
Exactly, but that spirit was in them.
It was in them, right.
And they would even cause them to have dreams with sexual desires with animals, and those demons would come to them and all the stuff, and they were set free. Well, it sounds to me like this is the same type of spirit right here driving the furries.
Absolutely.
Gerald, why are you looking at me like that for?
We're way out there tonight.
Are we really way out there?
Yeah, we're out there. But it's going on. We know it's going on.
Yeah.
Well, they're actually calling this another alternative lifestyle, not just the furries. So furries is one of them.
Right.
The ecosexual, that's another one. And then we have the third one that we haven't even touched on
What's
yet.
that one there?
Well, if I can pronounce it right, let's see.
Polyamory.
Polyamory.
Amory, that's it. Polyamory.
Polyamory, yeah. Let's see. Polyamory is the practice of or desire for intimate relationships involving more than two people with the knowledge and consent of everyone involved. And as in a previous article, I discussed how colleges and universities all over the United States are holding events and workshops to promote polyamory as an acceptable lifestyle choice.
Now, this is in Charisma Magazine.
Yes.
Everybody here, we're not making this up. We're
Right.
just expounding on the supernatural that Charisma Magazine is really saying.
Right.
Y'all look in churches, ever who gets Charisma Magazine, pastors, churches, y'all need to be aware of what's going on. If you talk about this transgender issues, I mean, somewhere along the line, listen, you're going to make it so I can't say nothing about furries.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say nothing about transsexuals. Transgender. I mean, I can't. You can't say anything about any because it's a hate crime. No, it's not a hate crime. I'm just trying to help you.
Right.
I'm trying to help the body of Christ to be able to help
so
people
they can be aware.
so they can be set free.
Right. Absolutely. And this article that we're reading from here too was they have several articles, but was in the Washington Post.
Yeah.
And
Let's
stuff.
go ahead.
It's not just it says now, of course, the Obama administration is doing all it can to promote alternative lifestyles these days. To say that things have changed in the White House over the past couple of generations would be a massive understatement. Just consider this parallel for a moment. In May 1961, President John F. Kennedy announced that we would put men on the moon. In May 2016, Barack Obama announced that we would put men in women's restrooms.
And it's okay.
Yes.
It's all right. Well, let's put a period on it right there for a moment, and we got to take a commercial break here and go to our sponsor here real quick. We may have to go see doctor.
We may have to.
Yeah.
That's
we
right.
know everything's going to be all right, don't we? So this is Dr. Sheila Milo. She is sponsoring the program. We really appreciate her, all that she does. She's been in the area for a long time, starting up her practice. So we want to get everybody pointed that direction. They're doing a blast over the radio,
right?
Putting things out for her. So I'm going to run. We're running a PSA for her, a public service announcement. So we're going to run that. I'm going to run that right now. Then we're going to do a commercial at the end of this. You ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
Are you obese? Weight that is more than the healthy weight for a given height is described as overweight or obese. According to the CDC, about 35% or 78 million U.S. adults are obese. Obesity results from factors such as behavior and genetics. Behaviors include dietary patterns, physical inactivity, medication use, and some other causes. It's a serious health issue because it's associated with the leading causes of death, which includes diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and some types of cancer. Dietary guidelines recommend eating whole grains, fruits, vegetables, lean protein, low-fat dairy products, and drinking water. Even modest weight loss of 5 to 10% of your body weight is likely to produce improvements in blood pressure, blood sugars, sleep, and energy levels. The key to achieving a healthy weight includes healthy diet and regular exercise. If you want to lose weight and improve your health, contact me at Premier Medical to start our weight loss program. I'm Dr. Sheila Milo, and this has been your Health Minute. Please call us at 803-617-7555.
All right, there you have it.
There
and you're
you have it.
back in the studios of WUCC 99.9 FM. It's good to see everybody here. And so let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to finish up our discussion here on puppy play, ecosexuals, and polyamory. I'll let you finish. You have anything else you want to read about?
Yeah, I just want to finish reading this. It's just
All right.
one little paragraph. It says, and while most of the focus has been on bathrooms, many people have not even considered some of the other very disturbing implications. And it gives you the website to go to check it out of Obama's recent move. It says the most offensive part of the new policy is that under the Obama administration's federal guidance, school districts must allow biological males and females to spend the night together in the same hotel room while they're on field trips. Colleges must let men who say they are transgender be roommates with one or more women.
And this is the other part. And
school officials cannot even tell those young women or the parents in advance that their new roommate is a man without risking a federal lawsuit.
Well, isn't it amazing?
I mean, I read this kind of stuff and these things that we're going over, and I'm thinking, Lord God, please come, because I don't want my grandchildren to have to grow up in a world like this.
This is in Charisma Magazine that just came out, and it's just amazing. The plain wording of Obama's administration's dictate is clear. dictic is clear enough, yet it has not been reported even by conservatives, new outlets. So here's it. Needless to say, go ahead and read that last paragraph. You did so good. Needless to say, a lot of parents
are going to feel compelled to pull their children out of public schools just based on these new guidelines alone. But the truth is that our public schools have not been good environments for our children for a very long time. Just consider what happened down in Florida.
Yeah.
And it gives the website for that on CBS News and stuff. So.
And it says Florida sheriff's detectives are investigating a cell phone video purportedly showing a 15-year-old girl having sex with as many 24 boys in a public high school bathroom after school. A school security camera captured 25 boys entering the restroom. And the Lee County Sheriff's spokesman said Tuesday that authorities originally decided not to pursue any criminal charges from the incident. I'm just letting you know, evil is arising. Literally thousands of different ways. Yet there are very few people who are standing up
for the truth.
They're not
That's
saying
right.
anything. And I'm telling you, Pastor, you're going to preach Sunday. There's going to be something good, I'm sure. But it will be totally irrelevant
to what's going on today.
To the wickedness that's in the world that people need to be aware of. And, he says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, and the lack of awareness and those things that are taking place. They're absolutely messed up. Flakka and the cocaine drug. We can move into our other segment that we're going to talk about now. We're going to talk about, and I'm sure you may have some stuff on it too, brother and sister. But we're talking about the feast days. We talked about Flakka. We talked about the Furries. Now we're going to talk about the feast days, because I think it's how does this fit in? How does this fit in with the world and the time frame that we're in? And I believe that, I'm looking at a book that I have here. It's called God's Final Jubilee. And in this book, I'm not going to go all into it, but it's by Daniel K. Goodwin. He's a best-selling author, God's Final Jubilee. And it talks about the year of Jubilee being the last one.
Right.
Is this year of Jubilee God's last Jubilee? Now, there's a discrepancy that he uses in his book versus Jonathan Cahn. And I had a video here ready for him to play, but I don't have enough time to play his video in the feast days that he says. But when you do the math, either one or two ways, either Jonathan Cahn's right or Daniel Goodwin's right. Jonathan Cahn says that he believes that this year, 2015, September, through September 2016 is the year of Jubilee, that we are in that year of freedom now.
Right.
And in that year of freedom, and the other side of it is Daniel Goodwin is thinking it's next year, just the way it's calculated. Some people calculate it one way, some calculate it the other way.
Right.
I am regardless, I believe we're in the year of Jubilee now. That's just what I believe. And that whether we're right or wrong, I mean, that's irrelevant.
Right.
But it's a time frame. What God's doing is setting people free, I believe. And when I look at the feast days that God wants to do, is that he wants to set his people free and make them aware of the bondages that people are in, and they can be set free. And did you have anything where it talked about the feast days of the year of Jubilee?
I did, but one of the things you was talking about, I wanted to read that I found I was researching. It says that, the Jewish New Year is Rosh Hashanah, and that's the Feast of Trumpets.
Yes.
Okay, that's when it begins. And this year is October 11th, 2016 at sundown.
Okay.
And that begins the year 5777.
Right, that's right.
So that's that's the new year beginning. So we're in the 5776 year now.
That's right.
And now we're going to the 37s starting in October of this year.
Right. I did a program with Chris James from over at TV 49. TV 49. And so we did a program with him, and he studies the numbers. And he is studying how that the year 5777 could be the completion of whatever God's doing.
Well, I look at it this way. You've got the three numbers, which is the 3 is divinity.
Right.
And then you've got the 7.
It's perfection.
Which is perfection.
Yeah.
So I just, you have to,
I mean, that's what he says.
And
that
so
that could be the, when you get through this year, that's it. Whatever God's going to do. Here's the main thing that I wanted to bring about the feast days is to make people aware is that there are people who are studying this, how close we are to the end. Look at Flakka. Look at how evil that is. Look at the Furries. Come on, y'all.
I know, right?
And look at what the Bible talks about our feast. See, I'm trying to bring it back around to you. The biblical aspect of this is that God tells us how wicked it's going to be, but at the same time, the church is to be looking for Jesus to come. And I'm telling you, he is right at the door. I believe the angel's lips are on the trumpet. I believe that that's how close we are. The angel's lips are on the trumpet. He's ready to sound the shofar for the rapture to take place, for us to go home. And I think that is one of the things as far as which year is it, is the uncertainty, because you don't know.
Right, you don't know.
You just don't know. Is this one right? Is this one right? But we know the season. And I think we're in that season.
We're in that season. Else? Yeah, I was studying this. This was off one of the Perry Stone CDs. You know, he teaches on that. And he was talking about of the 7 feast days that he was talking about, the first one being Passover and the last one being Tabernacles. Those are the only 2 feast days that the Jewish males are required to be at. Those 2, Passover and Tabernacles. All those in between, they don't necessarily have to attend, but that first one and that last one they do.
Which ones were they?
Passover, which he says is redemption.
Right.
And Tabernacles is resurrection in the kingdom of God. And he says that you're required to be there.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be required to be at those 2.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Whether if you've been redeemed.
Yeah. You got to be there.
You got to be there. And Tabernacles is when you go
into
the kingdom of God.
And that will be the 1,000-year reigning rule of Christ on the earth. So I believe the year of Jubilee is a time where God is raising up ministries to unlock the power of God in regions and areas. When you read, I did a program called The Unlockers. And that God is anointing people, churches, areas with supernatural power to unlock the supernatural in people's life through deliverance ministries, through the supernatural miracles, that God's people needs to be set free in this year of Jubilee. Just regular preaching and regular churching ain't going to set people free.
Right.
That's not going to do it. It's going to have to take something like the ministry of Jesus being resurrected again, to overcome Flakka. Those people, and I'm telling you what, we got people who come in. They come in bound with their drugs. They come and they're saying, "We want help. We need help. We need help." And when they go through deliverance and they get set free, it's quite an amazing feat when those kind of things happen, isn't it?
I think about all the things going on in this world, and I'm thinking, if we're in the year of Jubilee and getting ready, and the church is getting ready, and the devil is ramping up all this craziness, and God's also ramping up his power, his supernatural power for his children, for those that are living lives consecrated to him, those that are really following and wanting to be, because when all this stuff starts coming in and people start seeing it, they're not going to know what to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's not going to shock any of us because we've done seen most of it.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, when you talk about the 7 feasts, now, because we'll probably do another program on just the feast.
Just the feast.
And things like that. The first 4, would you say Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, Pentecost. First 4. So then it says in my book here, it talks about there's a 4-month gap between those. And then the Feast of Trumpets is the first day of the 7th month.
Right.
And that's when the Feast of Trumpets begins. And then the 10th day of the 7th month. So the Feast of Trumpets is for like 10 days. And then there's the Day of Atonement, 10th day of the 7th month. And then the 15th day of the 7th month is the Feast of Tabernacles. I think the Feast of Atonement might be 2 days. I think it was 2 days for that one. But the Feast of Tabernacles was 15th day of the 7th month. So they're all together. Right there together, and we're looking for the Feast of the Trumpet, Feast of Trumpets, and that would be when the angel blows his horn for the rapture of the church to take place. When that takes place, then you move into the last 7 years of tribulation, the last 7 years of the earth, and you go through that tribulation period, and the Day of Atonement and the Feast of Tabernacles, which will be that very last, when we go into the 1,000-year reigning rule of Christ. So I'm excited about the feast, the seven feasts. The church needs to be prepared.
Yes, they do.
Church. You hear a lot of pastors and all say, "Well, I don't think you need to study that." It's all Jesus fulfilled all the feasts. He fulfilled all that. I'm going, yeah, you did.
Sure,
but
he did.
The thing is that every bit of it plays out in a timeline.
Right.
And God is showing us the connection of the feast days with us here. Is it God's final Jubilee? Boy, I'm going to tell you what.
Well, if it's
But I
not,
tell
we
you-
got to wait another 49 years. So
Right. I don't know.
I'm not so sure this world can wait.
You know, is this the last? Is this year the last final Jubilee on the prophetic clock of the Hebrew calendar that we will see? The last one of the feast days. I'm talking about before the 1,000-year reign and rule of
Right.
Christ on the earth.
Right.
And a lot of people are saying when they look at the calculation of the numbers
Uh-huh.
that this has to be it, whether it's this year, next year, this time frame, that there will be not another one in that. So I'm kind of like looking at, wow.
Right.
And Jonathan Kahn said this here. He says in 1917 with the Balfour Declaration and been able to take back over the Middle East under British control, and then in 1966, 1967 with the Six-Day War, with Israel being able to go into the Western Wall. So it was a war.
Right.
That
right.
if it follows suit like he's seen everything else do, then this time frame where we're at now, and if it has to be, there will be some type of a military activity that has to take place in the Middle East. With Israel.
Right.
In some type of restoration in Israel in this time frame. So keep looking to the Middle East when they're talking about rockets and war and all these type of things going on. Especially the economic collapse and all these different things. Just because we're at the end of the Shemitah year and the 4 blood moons and people laughed because didn't anything happen, I'm telling you what, the 4 blood moon, it was just a few months ago. Everything didn't happen in a day.
Right.
But it's a
right.
season that we're in, and I believe we're in that season. And I believe that we are so focused here in America on the elections right now.
That we've taken our eyes off of what's really going on.
In the church, absolutely. But it's the church. I am absolutely taken back.
This election is a distraction.
Exactly.
It's a distraction.
Exactly. Well, we got 2 minutes. I've enjoyed tonight.
I sure have too.
I hope these people will tune in next week and, they'll keep on coming back.
That's right. That's exactly right. Pastor, can I hold your book for a minute? I want to hold it up and let my folks on Facebook.
Yes, look at that.
This is the book. If you can see it.
Yep. It's called The Final Jubilee by Daniel K. Good. It's a great book. The day, all it is which year is it? Right. Jonathan Kahn and all, I'll look at 1 year before, 1 year after, and they'll even say, and he'll even say, if this year is it.
Right, right.
And this is how you calculate the year of Jubilee.
Right.
And so there are different ways that they look at things, and
you just don't know.
That's by design.
But, the way this world's going.
All by design.
All by design.
I do.
I want to take a minute and thank all my Facebook people watching. Thank y'all all for tuning in and watching us. And we'll be back next Friday night, hopefully with another great It's Really a Supernatural show. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys.
All right.
I was going to say we're going to have another show. The Lord may come on back this week.
That's right. Well, maybe He will.
There is such a growing sense of urgency, and get ready. Get ourselves adorn our garments.
Sheila Milo, thank you so very much for supporting It's Really Supernatural. And all I can say is I really appreciate everybody who's been listening in to what we're doing here on It's Really Supernatural. I've been your host, Henry Schaefer. God bless you as you continue to serve the Lord. Let me get my exit in here, and we're ready. For listening to It's Really Supernatural program. Now tune in next week for more Acts of the Holy Spirit.